I want to focus my remarks on the impact on governments and on boards. Quite a lot has been said about the pace of change, and we've had some statements about the impact on boards, which I rather largely agree. If you look at what boards do, two of the main tasks are they decide strategy and allocate capital, and they oversee risk. Now, what this, in a digital world, if we can define it, means is that the whole board has got to be engaged in the digital issues. You can't just have somebody in who's an expert and who will sit in the corner and tell you expert things in words that you don't understand from time to time. If you're going to allocate capital in the digital world, you have to understand what's going on, and you have to manage the risks. Now, that actually raises a big question, because I think a lot of directors are quite frightened about this, and they don't really feel up to the task. And they think that young people actually know everything. But the problem with young people is they don't really know how to run businesses, because I just think they don't know enough about it. But you can see, if you look at the situations in companies which have been hacked, that it can do enormous damage to them. And it can take quite a long time to recover from that. So I think this has raised a new task and a need for new skills here. I also think in this area that there is a new ethical issue which is coming in, which Agnes mentioned. When I say about Diageo and whiskey, actually companies hold a lot of data about people. We don't know what happens to that data. We don't know how long they keep it, who they sell it to, how will they protect it. I think it's very interesting that when it gets stolen, you and your data, when it gets stolen, you may never find out about it. Although the European Union is introducing legislation, I think rightly, which will require companies to tell you when your data has been stolen. But according to the figures I picked up again from these British figures, only 28% of attacks are reported to the police. So that actually companies just don't want the public to know when they've been hacked. And they actually tend to put a lid on it. I believe, I've been talking to somebody who has been in this position, I believe that quite often companies pay the ransom. And this is actually really quite worrying, because at some point you lose control completely. So I think there are some really large challenges here around security, around risk management, that we actually have to get on top of in order to allow the benefits which Leary has rightly pointed to flourish. That, I think, as I said, is still a very big challenge to overcome.